Burns was about to conduct an employee health check. Anyone found using drugs would be fired. According to federal law, the beer Homer frequently drinks also falls under the banned substances. For the next week, Homer was not allowed to touch any alcohol, which made him very depressed. The children tried to get their father to help with some tasks, but he found them all too boring. However, in Homer's eyes, everyone started looking like bottles of alcohol. Abraham was pinned in his arms, twisting his head. Unexpectedly the next day, while dining out, the drinks they ordered contained alcohol, so Homer tried to speed up his metabolism by exercising, but he quickly became exhausted. When he tried to eat something to regain his strength, Maggie told him that all food contained alcohol. On the day of the health check, Homer was extremely nervous. He began praying fervently to God. Meanwhile, the doctor discovered that the employees had been exposed to dangerous levels of radiation, showing positive results. Burns' lawyer warned him of a massive financial burden, but in the blink of an eye, Burns activated a mechanism to kick the lawyer out. He swore that this would be the last time he would pay workers. Burns planned to replace the workers with highly intelligent kangaroos, but Smithers pointed out that they would just steal office supplies. Smithers then recommended a better solution, so Burns decided to fire all employees and replace them with robots. Everyone at the nuclear plant was now unemployed. Smithers suggested keeping one employee to take responsibility if needed. At that moment, Homer walked in. When Homer was about to leave, Burns asked him to stay and continue working, adding that the job would bore Homer to death. Homer happily returned to his workstation, but Smithers was fired. He believed no robot could ever replace him. The next moment, a service robot entered. The robot's service experience far surpassed that of Smithers.
I can do that.
The next day, Homer returned to work and found his robot colleagues to be extremely dull. Back in town, the economy was on the brink of collapse. Unemployed workers couldn't find jobs. Maggie remembered when Burns first arrived in Springfield. Lenny had to make a living by cleaning windows. Smithers had become a teacher to make ends meet. The residents of Springfield began to fall into despair, eventually losing their sanity. One day, Homer accidentally damaged a factory robot. He tried to fix it, but ended up breaking even more robots. As he frantically pressed buttons, he unintentionally activated the robot's emotional mode. From then on, Homer started chatting with the robots and even wanted to invite them to the bar for drinks. But the robots couldn't leave the factory. Their programming only allowed them to operate within a certain area. So Homer came up with a plan. He moved the yellow lines so the robots could play baseball with him. Homer's foolish and comical actions disrupted the robots' programming, causing them to malfunction. But when Homer faced an accident, the robots immediately stepped in to protect him. This made Homer feel deeply guilty. The robots explained that their programming was set to unconditionally protect humans. Before losing consciousness, they reminded Homer to get out of the middle of the road. However, due to Homer's recklessness, most of the robots were destroyed. Homer then moved the yellow lines to his house, held a funeral for the robots, and burned them in a fire. Bart wanted to use a robot head to feed his turtles. Just as Homer was about to raise a glass in celebration, the robots stopped him. They explained that alcohol was harmful to the body. Homer, however, didn't take it seriously and went to Flanders' house to borrow a drill. He drilled holes in the top of each robot's head. This backfired. The robots' programming became chaotic, and their mission shifted to eliminating all of humanity. The next moment, Homer's head was partially sawed off. He used gum to seal the wound. The robots began to chase Homer. He ran to Burns' mansion seeking shelter. Seeing the robots closing in, Burns opened the door, mocked them, and released his attack dogs, but the robots defeated the dogs. This made Burns extremely angry, and he scolded the watchdog. As a result, both the dog and the robots began attacking them. The two of them began to flee and hid in the sunroom.